Skibidi Toilet has arrived. New Skibidi Toilet object. Powerful enemies. Thrilling battles. Protect the base. Use WoW's powerful creation tools and build defense towers to your heart's content. Engage in intense battles. Various defense towers. Earn points in battle. Unlock more defense towers. Tons of strategies. Epic battles. Play now.
Good afternoon and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue our journey in the PUBG Mobile Super League for the European region, as we are on the hunt for the best teams across Europe and Turkey to see who will be representing the region at the PUBG Mobile Global Championship. My name is David Sandstrom, this is Blank, and today is day 2 of the knockout stage of PMSL EU. And so far, we've been having a lot of fun. We've been seeing Rondo for the first time. We've seen all kinds of chaos and carnage. And you know why I'm very happy today? You know why I'm smiling so much right now? Because we have 2 Rondos today. Let's go.
I know you were happy, but I knew you were going to say it as well. I felt it coming. I mean, it's double Rondos, which is going to be a lot of elims today, potentially. A lot of elims. And we saw yesterday Jet Go get a ton. I think they got 9 elims on their Rondo. They got 0 placement points. You know, their early game was good. The late game, pretty bad. But they got a lot of points off it though, right? One team that didn't get so many points was Boz, who almost ended the day with 0 points. Sandstorm.
Yeah, that they did, and they did make up for it in the. I mean, I say make up for it. I say make up for it, but they really didn't. I am on some copium right now. If I believe that 8 points was really making up for it, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
You're talking about an average of 2 points per game. Yes, we have 5 matches per day, but it's 4 games that every single group and every single team plays. Yeah, it's that's some copium. But no, they need like 40 plus points to make up for whatever we saw from them yesterday, because that was atrocious from the second place team. And another team that suffered was IW Nextruya. They were also number 3 in the group stage, and then just 15 points in the first 4 matches as well for them. So yeah, off the map a little bit.
It's rough. I think the case is right now is that we have a lot of good players spread across a lot of good teams now. It used to be beforehand where you would have like a few teams with very, very good rosters, like all 4 players. But we switched things around a bit. People have been moving in and out all over the place, which is cool to see. But it has also left some teams without their star players, some teams that are struggling now to make it work whilst they rearrange the roster. I mean, S2G right now are definitely in that position where getting Sol K in. It's been a bit weird.
A bit. Yeah.
But yeah. It's definitely a case of Boz didn't make it up yesterday. But
yeah, no, they did not. They did not.
You're a kind guy.
Clarify.
You're a kind guy.
I'm very kind. I'm trying to be nice. You know, they're already looking at getting eliminated from the competition if they don't make it as the top 16 teams or one of the top 16 teams out of the 20 that are currently competing. Yes, we finished the league stage. It was 3 groups of 8 teams per group, and it was 6 matches per day, having 2 groups play every single day. Top 20 from this 24 teams made it to the knockout stage, which is where we are right now in day 2. 5 matches every single day. 4 teams, or rather 4 groups, will be playing every single game. So one of the groups will be dipping out every game, and we'll be having those kind of swaps coming in. And then, of course, when it comes to the finals, it is going to be the 16 teams that qualify over the next day or 2. 6 matches per day for the finals. That's what we're used to for PMSL EU. And of course, the Smash rule,
which will be happening over in the grand finals only, not during the knockout stages. But let's say you finished on 100 points day 2, it'll be 110 to cross that line. And then if you get yourself a chicken dinner, you will be smashing. It will be smashing, and it will be amazing because you'll win the whole tournament just off the back of that. I think for a lot of our tournaments so far, over the past year or so, we've not seen a huge amount of Smash rulings come through. A lot of it has come down to the final game. Though, there has been a lot of times where on that final game, someone has hit the Smash target and gone from like a 4th place to a 1st, which is always fun to see. But here is our match calendar for the day. We finished out yesterday, the 17th. We're here today on the 18th. You weren't keeping up with your calendar, which I know that sometimes I don't. I'm like, what day is it? But there you go. We'll be starting out Rondo onto Erangel, Miramar, Rondo, and Erangel to finish. I quite like today. I think Miramar sometimes can drag, but I think this is a nice change-up. And I think that might only be because I've watched Miramar for like 100 million games at this point.
I agree. Listen. Me and you went through I want to say a very slow game and a very slow day yesterday. Not just in the last Miramar we had. I want to say in a couple of Erangels, specifically the one Papara Supermassive got towards the end of the day. I think that was the one where it took us like 13 and a half, 14 minutes to get a single elimination in Erangel. Miramar also took 10 plus minutes to for us to see that first little bit of action in the game. So yeah, I can understand the struggle that is Miramar and how long it takes for us to get into the nitty-gritty things, all the fights, all the skirmishes that we want to see. It does take some time, but yeah, we only get the one. It's in the middle of the day, but we get double Erangel and double Rondo. So you know what? Yeah, I think today looks like that's my ideal schedule. You know, I like it. Double Rondo, double Erangel, and 1 Miramar. I'm very happy with that.
It's a high octane day. Here are groups. Your Group A with Papara Supermassive being the #1 team there to look out for. Group B, we're looking more over towards Ida, and I'd say the Noisy Boys a little bit there. For Group C right now, Team Falcons aren't doing terribly. Anathosis, Famagusta, they're showing up now and again. BRA yesterday started out very, very strong, and Fenerbahce were able to claw back some kind of a lead. And Group E, you do have Regnum Kaya, that everyone is expecting to do a little bit better right now, but I think we discussed yesterday struggling a little bit because it's very different from the international stage. And there are some moments where they get caught out because they're like, why are you playing here? It makes no sense.
Yeah, there was a couple of times we spotted them out in yesterday's games, questioning what they were doing in certain positions. But Regnum Carry at the moment, the position they are in, to let you guys know, it is 23 points, currently sitting at 9th place, tied with Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce, who had an incredible run in the group stage, struggling a little bit in the survival stage. But at the moment, the goal for all the teams and the goal for all the players is to make sure that they are within that 16 threshold. And speaking of thresholds, I think we're looking at 70, 80 for this one. When it comes to qualification to the grand finals of the competition. Last time we were about like 4 points off. I'm hoping we're a little bit closer this time.
I think we might be a little bit further off than potentially we calculated yesterday, just because I think with Rondo and also some teams just being very, very good, there might be a bit of a points vacuum at the top right now, because I am looking down towards the bottom of the tables. I think I'd love it if it was like, 60, 70, but I'm thinking maybe it might even be lower than that at this rate, but we'll wait and see. It depends how today goes. I think we'll have a clearer picture of it going into day 3. But yeah, I think that trying to take into account Rondo is the big thing right now for me and you, where there's a lot of eliminations to be gathered in that, and that can ultimately really skew the points.
Yeah, and we saw, I would say, different strategies that teams have adapted. We've seen one of the teams drop in a completely different location, send the trio together to play for the eliminations, and then they never got eliminated. They barely got any eliminations, but they got together and they ended up top 2. I believe that was X-Slade that struggled at the beginning of the game that time, but they got second place. They weren't able to get that chicken dinner, and we also weren't able to get 2 flight paths yesterday. We've seen it once so far. It's not that high a chance, but I want to see the double paths.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking at the percentages of the chance, we have 3 rondos so far, so it's statistically likely we'll see at least 1 today, which I do hope for. But yeah, that's very interesting. It means that the entire map a lot of times can be completely covered, which means that rotations do get a little bit dangerous towards that early game and somewhat difficult to understand where players are coming from, because usually a lot of times the playing path is very, very important, especially in a lot of other games, of where potential players will be coming from. When you add a second playing path to the mix, suddenly you've got to keep track of where teams might be in the plane and then where they're dropping on the map. There's a lot to think about there. So I think for a lot of teams, that's where the recall system comes in, or it gives you that slight second chance when that does come through.
Yeah, and when it comes to the plane paths, from what we've seen throughout PMSL EU, this split so far, there's been, when it comes to Erangel, there's a lot of southern plane paths towards the military island, but I think we've only had 1 military island finish so far. When it comes to Miramar, there's been a decent bit when it's like south, southeast, and there's a decent bit of water in there as well. We've seen a couple of those in Erangel too, so they haven't really been the easiest games for these players as well. It's been quite difficult, but entertaining for us, so we'll take it.
Yeah, very entertaining. I think the southern plane paths are always the worst there on Erangel, where we had that game yesterday. I think it was the second or first. I think it was the first. Yeah, first Erangel of the day, where we had the plane path on the south side, and then it just shifted north up towards Center Island on Rozhok. So not only did we have a rough start to the game, you also had a rough decision to make of where you wanted to play next. So I do think that teams weren't too happy with that one. And it was a little bit of one of those games where you thought to yourself, it's slightly dumb luck, right? And I think for BRA, that was definitely the case, where they were able to get 26 points off that first game. Then you can see here, they didn't really get all that many throughout the rest of the day. I think that's 11 total over the 3 other games. And I do think the BRA were on the right side of the circle. They had a lot of space to clear. S2G were completely thwarted by Shockwave's push. So I'm curious. So I'm definitely curious what BRA does today, Sandstorm, because for me, it's one of those things where if they don't perform today, then we're pretty much confirming that it was dumb luck on day 1.
I mean, they did start off strong, like you mentioned, on day 1, and yeah, we'll definitely be on the lookout for them coming into day 2 of the competition. 37 points in the first try, and when they were in the group stages as well, didn't have the worst performances, didn't have the best. They were also kind of like middle of the pack, I want to say.
They did pretty well. I think they got for 4th in that one, 93 points. Okay. Yeah. It was a good day 3 that they had. But then again, a lot of the big teams weren't playing on day 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, so they had a little bit of advantage in that situation. And we've seen how different teams are able to perform depending on which teams are available, which teams are playing. For example, Falcons have an easier time when Shockwave isn't dropping nearby them in Miramar, just as an example. That would be one of the things that affects their rotations and affects their early gameplay. And we saw when Shockwave wasn't there yesterday, Falcons were able to rotate early on and they were able to get themselves the chicken dinner at the end of the day. And right now, yep, the throne is indeed back with the Owls. And Papara Supermassive, can they continue this domination that they have shown us, and of course bring it all the way to the grand finals and make it into top 3, because that's when it's really going to matter. You're going to need that top 3 spot to make it into PMGC. If you get crowned champion as well, get yourself the lion's share of the $200,000 that we have on the line for this competition as well. You'd be very happy with your year.
Yeah, I mean, their heads on the 360, just like the Owl right now, just because a lot of their games they're playing, I mean, we saw yesterday, I think it was second Erangel, where there was some unbelievable firepower from their side. It was instant reaction times where one player was getting pushed. There was immediate responses from the rest of the team. And I think that's kind of what solidified it for me, because even just watching him over on the group stages as a viewer, you don't typically take in all of that all the time. But then watching it firsthand live here is a very different scenario for me, where I was like, well, they did amazing in the group stage, but now I'm really seeing why that was the case. So incredible gameplay. I was very, very, very surprised by it. And it felt weird to me that it's Papara Supermassive who's the ones outclassing teams like S2G, like Regnum Kaya, like Team Falcons. Very, very surprising, but I'm glad to see it. It's about time we had new blood actually injected into PMSLU.
I mean, so far we've been surprised by quite a few teams that have made it here to this. I want to say this level of the competition. I'm very happy and surprised with X-Lay because they were on the struggle bus in the group stage. Specifically, the first day didn't have the best of times, and yesterday I think we've seen them 2-3 times already in the top 4, top 5 with a decent amount of eliminations as well. They've been consistently playing well. Very happy with them. Jetgo. Most of their points are eliminations. Okay, that's it. One of the games it was 9. Another one it was 10 eliminations, but they have 1 placement point because they managed to get 8th in one of those games as well. And then I think that last game they rounded it up to get to 27 or 25 rather in the end, just above Regnum Carrier. And yeah, it is surprising seeing some of those names above the likes of Regnum Carrier and Fenerbahce. And you know what? The next team, Ulf. I want to see what they're capable of in the second
Wolves.
day of the knockout stage. Yeah, the Wolves.
But not the Wolves.
Is it there? I mean, yeah, they're. What would we call dire Wolves now? It's just half Wolves now. It's just Ulf.
It's a difficult one for Ulf because Wolves Esports does exist. You can't call yourself Wolves Esports, but you do want to have like the Wolf logo. So you just take the W off and you hope no one notices. But we did notice almost immediately. Yeah. It was very obvious. So, but again, I think Ulf's a great team. I actually really do like Ulf. They have some of my favorite players on that squad. Overall, I hope they continue to do well. I mean, they came 5th, just 3 points behind guys over on BRA. Again, I do want to speak about that a little bit because that day 3 was really the slobber knocker of a day. I mean, Papara Supermassive started day 1 on 36 points, but they came out on day 3 swinging with 84, which is a ridiculous score count for 6 games. But in that third day, you didn't have Regnum Kaya, didn't have Fenerbahce, didn't have Anathosis, Ida wasn't playing, Kara wasn't playing, Falcons weren't playing. And I think that those are all really big names. So you did have a slightly easier lobby to contend with, which is why I always prefer a group system. It's quite difficult to do with 24 teams and make it work. I'm thinking about the maths, and I'm already I'm struggling already. We're gonna need to send that assignment to John. We have an assignment for him then. So. Yeah, but I do think groups always works way better because you just do have those days where you're fortuitous. But again, that's what groups are for. You get groups of death, you get groups of leisure as well.
I like that. And I mean, from what we've seen from Papara Supermassive, it doesn't seem like it's a fluke, for me at least. It doesn't seem like it's a fluke of a performance so far. Just because they've dominated that first stage of the competition, right now they have been, and they continued with an extremely high average. So I'm looking forward to what that first game is going to look like and what their performance is going to be. And not just them, but I also want to see a little bit more from Falcons. We mentioned how champions from the last split, potential to go back to back, but not. We haven't seen. I think maybe we've seen like glimpses of what they actually like to play and their actual level. Maybe one. I've seen it once or twice. I want to say that last Miramar was about it. Outside of Narvalo not being able to regroup with his team, that was the only game. Okay, we're not gonna talk about the Miramar where they fell from the top. We're not going there. There's no need. There's no need. We already like destroyed them there. But ladies and gentlemen, there's no need to do that. As right now, we're going to start off our second day finally with the first match. And it, of course, is going to be on Rondo for the knockout stage. And the plane path is, let's have a look at where this is
It's a double.
Yeah. Oh, it's a double plane path. Heck yeah. Okay, I'm happy. I'm very happy now. 2 Rondos and a double. This is like, if I look outside and see a double rainbow, like that's it. This is my day. This is the day of the year.
It's an incredibly lukewarm double plane.
It is, though, isn't it?
It's like, well, you get to go a slightly different area of the map to everyone else. Yeah, I think up towards the top side of the map, we're probably going to see Xlay drop up there. I think they're playing this game. I could be wrong. Oh, yeah, there they are. Yeah, Xlay will be dropping up on that top side, potentially, and then going out for some more elims. It's likely that that's just 3 players dropping there, and the final player from Xlay is going to drop late, I believe. Don't make me wrong. There we go.
Yeah, Xlay, when they played yesterday, it was 3 towards Rinjiang, and it was 1 towards the north. But this time around, very
it's just
northern
Besiktas,
zone.
the exact same color. My bad. I'm not colorblind, but that actually
You're special.
Wrong.
You're special,
Yeah.
Blank. It's okay. But look,
No.
S2G, they're trying the tech. They're trying the strategy. I see Solkay on his own in 2 Ling, and then you have the rest of the squad. I believe they're fighting Boars at the beginning of this game, and Boars already suffered a loss, and they were instantly able to bring back SnowX. He's just slowly dropping back. It's actually Kara who's fighting along with S2G. So we got 3 teams dropping in this location from the very beginning. Havlik trying to find out what's the move to make in this situation. Switch back to Exo and chill for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, down towards this area of the map is always going to be extremely hotly contested. I didn't think it would be this hotly contested, but there you go. Falcons, Narvalo, already finding 1 over towards Oscars. Esports, which is nice. Kara has lost 2. Probably will be rezzed up soon enough. But the Falcons, if they can clear out all the players in here, will be a nice little bit of a tally added to them. They're currently 4th place right now. I mean, I know that I was memeing at the start of the game, but it's truly not that bad at 32 points. I think they did fairly well yesterday. That was bolstered by some circle look. The circle was pretty magnetic towards their position yesterday on Miramar, in a horrible spot for anyone else to play in, where there was actually little to no counterplay available to other teams, and they just had to brave the storm towards the end. But I think for the Falcons, they need to do more today. They can't rely on that kind of circle look every single time.
Yeah, it's not going to work out every single time. And right now, we're looking to see if S2G can make it work, because Rondo has not been their map. It hasn't been working out for them previously, but right now, they're starting off strong with the second elimination now onto one of the Boars one more time. But the second he was eliminated, he was instantly brought back. Yo, though, HamCG not checking the corners. Not checking anything really, but it's fine. I mean, I say it's fine, but it's not really fine. It's okay. It's not that bad. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it's not that bad, because S2G is gonna go for the recall instantly.
Yeah, I mean, it's the HamCG drone play, right? It doesn't really work out that much on other maps, but here on Rondo, it's absolutely fine for HamCG to die in the first 4 minutes of the game, which has been happening quite frequently.
Yeah, this is the 4th time HamCG has been eliminated from the very beginning. Let's see if S2G can get themselves the revenge. Kalse steps up. S12K versus S12K versus S12K. That's a lot of S36K. Yeah, that's what it would be like. You know what? That's what we're gonna go with. Nade for the door.
No.
Okay, hold on. It works. It's fine. They got it. It worked. And they get themselves the eliminations. Meanwhile, Falcons secure 2 onto the likes of Oscar Esports. And Oscar, of course, will have the opportunity to recall their team. Boars have lost maybe like 3 fights so far. in this game, and they should be a full squad in another minute or two. They lost another one just now. They are really going through it, Blank. Some words of wisdom for them, some words of motivation. I don't know what they need to get out of this struggle bus right now.
Words of wisdoms for Ball.
Yes.
Yeah, there really isn't a lot, to be honest with you. You're asking me to tell them to start playing the game, essentially, which is kind of unfair, in my opinion, because there really hasn't been too many
Okay,
times.
I feel like that's a bit strong, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been able to play the game yet, so it's hard to give them advice. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right? You're sat on 9 points right now, but that is roughly from 3 0-point games. It's hard. I think that the idea is, at the moment, is that they have to stop losing fights. You can say that to anyone. It's not too often. Nice.
That was kind of crazy. Loving Bra and how they're taking these fights right now. We'll talk about them later as Shockwave. The fight between them and S2G continues as 2Ling was exactly where I believe the IGL from S2G was reviving and recalling his team every single time a fight does not go their way. Look at that, Hamsi G. He's alive for now, Blank.
There's some really flimsy fences there, and they just go straight through them. Or it's a quantum grenade, I don't know. X-Late currently down to 1 player on this side with Yusuf trying to hold back 4 players. I don't think that's going to go too well. You're yet currently driving away, I imagine, to the closest res beacon. Yusuf just needs to delay as long as possible because he'll be able to get back up again. Meantime, BRA is really on the warpath, which is great to see here on Rondo. 3 elims already. Highest in the lobby is S2G with 4.
Still, we have every single squad alive and well. Yusuf finally gets pushed from Xlay. He will go down, and look at that. Everyone's back, alive and well, and the fighting continues. I am curious to see, because we have gotten a decent amount of revives and recalls. I'm waiting to see, once the recall stations shut down, how many eliminations we have. Because this looks kind of crazy with the amount of recalls that have... Let's have a quick look. 5, that's 10, 14, 15, 18, 19 eliminations so far, and we've only lost a total of 6 players from the lobby, but they can come back, and they are. And we're already on 18 eliminations, 8 minutes into this game. This is the Rondo effect, boys and girls. We see fighting from the get-go, and this is exactly why I like this map.
Yeah, it's not strategic, it's not pretty, but it gets you points. Definitely gets you points. It's the main thing that you're looking out for here. Not really confirming onto too many people yet. You're right, Boars are currently losing their 4th fight of the match. Isn't ideal. Upper Supermassive, on the other hand, they're just playing their own game. Right, 0 elims. They're looking for the win. Tron finds a shot over towards Real from Asgard. Given that Baytron was doing very well yesterday. And here is a little look in on the map. Besiktas, who dropped long up towards the top side of the map towards Ryan. They are having a very, very nice spot to work with. But the river cutting through the center here between the 2 high grounds does leave a little to be desired for a lot of our southern teams. And it's a good thing that the Noisy Boys gets in early over on that northeast side.
Yeah, that they do. Considering that they are one of the teams that is going to be in desperate need of points at the moment. 17 points in 17th place. They're going to need to do a decent bit more if they want to get themselves in a nice, safe, and secure location in the overall leaderboard. Still have those 16 teams. Not one has been eliminated thus far. But there have been quite a lot of eliminations in this game. Believe me. Don't worry, we'll get the math done once the recall stations have shut down. But look at that! Oh my god, no, Asgard lost 2 members, and Magics, they're dropping back in.
Back on the ball again. I mean, it's really easy for them right now just to keep this one grooving, keep it rolling all the time. And we're still at 61 players. I don't think there's really many teams that have any confirmed over the boards right now who are wandering through the zone lost in the source. I'm curious to see how this pans out because we are heading over towards the rocky outcrop, so towards the north side of the map. And again, it's going to be a lot of teams crunched in down towards the south side. And that's simply what's going to happen here on Rondo. It is quite fun is because by the time you get to stage 3 and stage 4, there is still a lot of very healthy squads.
A lot of healthy squad for now. See how many will be able to make it into the zone. Ooh, hold on. Wagner. No. That's a lot of damage for Wagner to take, but it's still able to swing on Takoa and secure the elimination before he feels any kind of pressure. And look at that. Anartosis Famagusta with 6 eliminations to their name.
Yeah, doing extremely well. I mean, Wagner Zard has always been a really good player and quite a good fragger. Never one of the best in the lobby, but always quite reliable. And I think that that's important to have, especially on a map like this where you want to be getting those picks here and there and often. You don't necessarily want the most aggressive player in the world, but you have to take a reliable player to pick up those items where you can. Shockwave's taking a little bit of a wild route over on the eastern side, and wrap around over towards Kuncia.
And look at that, we still have a decent amount of recall beacons in the zone. We have one in Stadium, one all the way in the north in Ryan. We have one towards the very eastern side, a little bit south, right behind X-Slay. As the zone moves forward, then that means there's only one recall beacon, unless the players and their colors and name tags are hiding one or two more, because usually they do tend to do that. It is quite difficult. But I only see one. And I think it should only be one, but it's going to be very well defended.
There's one in Stadium right now. There's one in Ryan. Doubt anyone's going up there. And I think there is one right now down towards the south side of the map, which is being camped by Oscar Esports. But you're right. I think we're getting towards that stage of the game where a lot of them are now missing from the area. Falcons did send out wide over towards Test Strike to pick Koa back up again, but it is a long walk back over towards the circle. Right now, we have Ida up against X-Lay. Sorry, Oscar Esports.
Yep. X-Lay trying to step up now. Noir. They have Yusuf knocked down, but Rita will follow from Ida. So it is a 2-for-2 trade. Nade! Oh, that's going to be doing quite a lot of damage, and it does. It gets the knock onto the third, and it stops the revive as well. That just means it's going to be one player left from the side of X-Lay. And remember, if the entire team is wiped out, there's not going to be anyone to use that recall beacon. So this fight is worth it. This 1v1 is for everything, and the nade will not be close enough to take down Madcap. And it looks like they're going to be thinking about going for the revive as well and slow things to a halt. Meanwhile, Papara Supermassive currently chilling with one elimination. Noir decides, I don't want this fight to continue anymore. I'm dipping, and Yekta got the heck out of there too. It looks like it's Noir that's the last person alive, and he's not going to be allowed to live. Ida, alongside S2G, picked them up in X-Slay. I kind of wish I had never really spoke about them today. The Caster Curse is real. The floor is yours. I don't know.
Is it Noir or is it Nior? Because it's N-I-O-R, right? Noir is spelled N-O-I-R.
That's true.
I was following your lead, but I'm starting to doubt now.
I mean, I think that's the mistake that you made. You followed my lead.
I did. Yeah, well, I trusted you. Is that not good?
I mean, well, yeah, but now you feel bad for trusting me, don't you?
No.
Okay.
I will always trust you. I'm just gonna verify.
You know what? I thought it was Noir, but since the I is first, then yeah, I'm not dyslexic, I think. But yes, then it is Nior? Nior. Okay, we'll go with Nior. Yeah, and we'll also go with the fact that Asgard are just completely tearing Fenerbahce apart at the moment. Razy has a task in front of him, and it is going to be Akron. He whips out the S12K, not able to win that fight. But instantly, look at that. Kara is here for the third party, and it's a full squad against 2. It's against Akron. It's against Sepkan. What can the shotgun do in this close range, in this close proximity? Can you win the fight one more time? Marso steps in. Sepkan takes 1 down. Tries to secure the eliminations, not able to. Kara just overwhelms them from every corner. All of a sudden, it is going to be just 1 person left. Look at that. They already set their sights on the next one. They are hungry for those eliminations.
I mean, they should be as well. I mean, Kara only on 2 eliminations this match. They are struggling to put up the numbers right now. But it is a massive possibility to get all the players back up again. 1 is bleeding out fairly quickly, though. Off in the distance, it is Besiktas, and we did get a shift on the circle. It was pretty grim. They moved over towards that north side and cut Besiktas off that high ground the BRA was attempting to pick up for themselves, which is now very, very awkward on the descent. I think when you're looking over towards Paparazzi Supermassive, though, I can only be pleased with the way they've played this game. I mean, they've not really gotten involved in any of the antics happening around the map, but instead just been like, guys, you have your 2 eliminations. We just want the chicken dinner, and we're happy to take that, so we're going to set ourselves up nice and central this game.
Nice and central. You can aim for that. Question is, can you make it without everyone hitting down your neck? Because look at that. Omri just not being allowed to breathe, set ablaze. And Ida start to feel the pressure. Meanwhile, Anartosis Famagusta, 9 elims to their name. Holy moly. I'm looking at the overall leaderboard just for the sake of having a look at how many eliminations there are. Noisy Boys are the only ones without 1. It looks like IWNRX will be taken out with only 1 to their name, and they will be in 18th place with the 16 points. Meanwhile, oh my god, do my eyes deceive me, or is that Boris actually winning a fight? And it's a fight against Kara as well, CEO. It's going to be a duo. It's going to be a 2v3 as Havlik is taken out. The beacon might be there, but I'm not sure how easy it is going to be for them to use it. But Boris, finally, 5 eliminations. They're alive, they're well, and they're on the hunt for higher placements. The first one they're looking at is Shockwave in 19th.
I think they're having a little bit of a better time here. It's taken a while to get to this point. Kara's unwilling to give it up easily, though, as Boz tried to flow around the building. Snorix is attempting to find an angle to work with, nade in hand, but Lewis is fairly protected in this position. Snorix could thread the nade, but he bounces it back off the fence. That's very bad.
Very bad for them indeed. It looks like the fight turns around in favor of Kara as they were able to take out one of the members from Boars, and the fighting on that side will continue. But things have slowed down here between these 2. Exo secured. Boars. Not sure what they can do with Kvik as the last member, and the zone shifting to the north just means it's not going to be an easy path for him to make it into the next one. He
Like
has to take this fight.
I'm not sure what Kvik can do. We just saw him off camera just crawling. That date's good as well. And he's as good as dead. An unfortunate end for Boz though, and it looked like they were starting to illuminate a little bit, but the light was cut short there. The fuse blown out and Boz go back to the lobby. Falcons, you know, I am very surprised Falcons are still in this game. The amount of times I've seen them struggling through horrible areas of the map. They even went down to test track, try and get players back up again. It's about time that they start losing players. They're out in the open. Deployable cover is not really helping all that much. Redux, final player remaining.
And with him being the last person, just about placement points for him, if he can even make it into the zone. Meanwhile, Noisy Boys, who are currently in the zone, and they're very happy with the position that they do have in the zone at the moment. And S2G might be attempting to pull up on that, but right behind them is going to be Anartosis Famagusta. They have to finish that fight before even thinking about making a move to the Noisy Boys. Meanwhile, Papara Supermassive, they've been very, very chill this whole time. 3 eliminations. We haven't seen much of them, and we won't see any more of Ida or Falcons, as they are both taken out. Falcons in 11th with 3, and Ida in 10th with 6. Rondo's always going to be this map that you get eliminated in, but you'll always have, you know, unless you win, you'll always have eliminations. Except somehow, again, the Noisy Boys. And I will go back and do the maths and see exactly how many eliminations we had in this game at the very end. Because this looks like it's going to be the highest one. Previously, it was 21. But right now, it's looking like we have a ridiculous amount more. And the job's not done yet. S2G lay down some cover and attempt to make a move.
Yeah, it's a large amount of elims so far. I mean, there's always a possible 60 elims in the lobby, but we're already reaching, I think, around about 40 plus so far right now.
Oh,
Kelsey finding Mozero. It's a nice name. Amoran and S2G start to slowly lose their grip on this hillside. Again, it's a horrible place to play. I don't think anyone really enjoys playing this one. A lot of deployable cover been sent out, and for good reason. You need some kind of hard cover to play off the back of this. Supermassive been playing it very chilled out down this south side though. And again, they're probably very looted compared to some of these teams.
Yeah, so they should be able to benefit quite a lot. But we'll get back to them in a second. As hold on, the nades raining onto Besiktas. Falconist trying to see if he can keep his team alive. They are on blinking health bars. The revives will need to be finished quickly. 9 teams remain in this first game with 23 players. And so far, Anorthosis Famagusta is on the hunt for a record breaker. At the moment, 12 eliminations. There's still a decent amount of teams left. They just have to keep up this aggression, and they could do wonders.
Chictas down below. I mean, they've been playing for this position for quite a while, but they are really cut out on the side of the circle, and we're going to get another shift over towards that north side now. Supermassive look to make their push, look to sweep around the side. 14 elims for Anorthosis. It's been a very good game for them. Really profitable overall, up to 47 points total. Not to mention any placement points that come off the back of this. They have been sweeping. They have absolutely been sweeping from that southeast side. Oscar Esports looking to hold them out. You see Nico here with nade of his own. Tosses it upside. Will be slightly short though.
Meanwhile, Supermassive now looks like they're going to have to defend not just their first place, but also their place in this game as Anorthosis Famagusta steps up. And that's the first one down already. Anorthosis, come on. I want to see a 20 elimination game in this competition, but with Wagner taking a beating and no opportunity for a revive, those chances go down as Anorthosis goes from 4 to 2. Meanwhile, Supermassive, there's a nice little response there, a nice quick little knock. But there's no opportunity for a push. There's only so much you can do.
That's like a 4-bullet burst. I think he must have hit at least 3 of the headshots there over towards default, which is super unfortunate. But it was a great push coming from Nico on the sidelines. Bagnazada had absolutely no idea he was here. Anorthosis is going to be very lucky if they make it through this. But Paparazzi Supermassive, they somewhat need to get a podium finish to make this playstyle worth it for them. They play very slow, very cautiously, but you know, they could have easily have played just as aggressive as BRA or Anorthosis. But yeah, they need second or first place. Otherwise, this playstyle just wasn't worth it to them.
Yeah, they only have 5 eliminations compared to the 9 that Bra have, or the 14 that Anorthosis Famagusta has at the moment. And the thing is, Noisy Boys were also one of the teams that were very relaxed. They were holding on to their position. They weren't really fighting. They weren't taking advantage of the fact that they can recall their players time and time again. They just haven't been getting the points that they need, considering the fact they're in 15th. You have a full squad. Use that to your advantage. Go for an objective. Go for a play. Get some points, but that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. And they've been in this location for the past couple of zones as well.
Yeah, it's definitely tough for the Noisy Boys to actually make this play because, again, there is a huge amount of sightlines from that west side that can look over towards them. Anorthosis do very well. In fact, just a singular player holding on strong there, but it's a nice nade over the top from Papara Supermassive to take down Melas. But also, similarly at the same time, the knock goes through towards the Noisy Boys. This is a perfect opportunity for Papara Supermassive to start gaining ground on this high point of the map.
And stay high up in the overall leaderboard as well with this playstyle. That is no fluke. This team is just that good from what we're seeing. Calm and calculated when they need to be. Meanwhile, Noisy Boys, not much noise being heard at the moment. And again, the zone favors them. They have positioning. Ezel from Bra. Quick
Great
knock,
shot.
but lovely response from Lost. And a quick one as well.
The comms are so tight on the side of Papara Supermassive. MK14 as well. That's a very nice pickup. Especially on these long-range engagements. That would be nice to have. Quantum just over the top of the hill here. But yeah, for Papara Supermassive, they are just so quick on the response time. The comms are so clean. It's so obvious to me. But they're going to start to have to pull out the claws here. Quantum gets absolutely obliterated by Shum.
No chance for a response there, but Supermassive still with the 4-man strong team that they have up against Shockwave and the Noisy Boys. So you have a team from first place going up against 2 teams at the bottom of the leaderboard. The 4v4v1. At this point, Shockwave's just hoping. Shum is dreaming of being able to get second place. First is just not going to be a possibility unless somehow some magic happens in our first rondo.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Shum because he has to play on this dangerous side of the map alongside with Papara Supermassive. He can't commit to playing in the water because that's like the first place that TMB is checking right now. It would be the most obvious place for a solo to play. But this little bit of a rock cover here actually is really good for him. And he'll be able to stay nice and silent. Hug the rock as much as possible.
I mean, there's no, I mean, he just, no, he didn't make any noise! But Mozaro decides, doesn't matter if you make noise or not. I want that point. I need that point for me and my team. And they managed to secure it in the end. And now it's going to be a 4v4. It's Papara Supermassive versus the Noisy Boys for our first chicken dinner. And I mean, look, Blank, you asked, is it a fluke or not? Is this team just that good or what? And right now, we will get our answer.
Yeah, I mean, as for BRA, if it's fluke or not, I mean, for Papara Supermassive, it's very obvious this is a very good team. I think they're extremely strong right now. I think from even group stages, it looked good. Obviously, they didn't play against the top squads, but to get 83 points, I mean, that still takes something magical. Nade's been sent down the hill here. Last nade in hand. Maybe wanted to wait a little bit longer. I mean, I can see what he's attempting to clear on that rock there where Shum was currently playing, but it's actually Mozaro down towards the water, which maybe is an unsuspected position, actually. A shark down below looking to gnaw upon Papara Supermassive and the owls between.
Right now, the splits, the imaginary line between the players that no one's crossing. Just poking, prodding around, searching, hoping to find an opening, hoping to find some play. But the 2 players on the very edge for the Noisy Boys are going to have to start moving closer and closer. 1 player will get exposed at some point. The zone will force them into this fight. Only 1 can win. Is it going to be Papara Supermassive or is it going to be the Noisy Boys?
Papara Supermassive right now, there's first aid kits on some of the players, but you can see a lot of them are still on 70% HP. Stims are all used up. There's barely any death crates here remaining for them to actually pick up. You're definitely having a tough time here for Papara Supermassive. They have to rely heavily on the initial engagement, right? The first shots, the first pick, that's going to be so important for them. I think Nico currently is the best player for that in terms of a pick player for the team. He's been very, very efficient for them. But yeah, I think that this all comes down to who gets the first knock. I think Papara Supermassive gets the first knock, then it'll start to crumble there onwards for TMB. I think if the Noisy Boys are able to get the first knock, they should be able to clean this game out.
Well, let's see if they're capable of doing that. And let's see who's going to find that first knock and get the advantage in this end game. Because right now, stage 9, that's it. Whether you like it or not, this game ends here. This game ends now. We're only going to have 1 winner. Who's it going to be?
This high ground advantage from Papara Supermassive is kind of big, though. TMB are the ones you have to face first, and also Papa Supermassive gets a silhouette along the cliffside, which is a little bit dangerous in terms of vision, but it means less of their bodies are visible. Lost takes a little bit of damage, but they saved some nades for this moment. Just one in the hands of Lost.
One nade in the hand of Hyso as well. Oh, beautiful. That's the knock that you're looking for. That's the play you need to make. The nade in response, not able to get a knock. But Kamikaze was able to get the job done with an opening onto Rohan, and all of a sudden a flurry of bullets flies between all of the players. And Mazzaro, last man standing at 1v3. And there's no way he wins this one. That's just not possible unless he takes down one. But two is just too many for him to handle. And Papara Supermassive, they had the lead coming into today, and they show us exactly what they are made of. Another chicken dinner at the beginning of the day. This team is on fire, and they are not relenting. They are not giving that first place away to anyone, and they're going to run away with it.
That they are. I mean, it's really good. Very, very well played late game for them. I think that the main thing to look at there is, even though they lost their off angle, there was, again, an immediate response from their side with that nade, which forces them back a little bit further. I think the crazy thing is, though, is that I don't know if you caught it, but towards that end game, there was 2 stun grenades thrown out simultaneously from the players on the side of Papara Supermassive.
Oh, wow.
And as you're coming over that bank there, it's completely open ground. I think both players were fully blind. Like, screen fully white. They had no idea what they were doing. So it's just a case of the S12Ks coming over the top and just shredding to bits, which is why you only have that one player still in action behind the tree at the end there, because he's the only one not blinded by the stun grenades. I didn't really, you don't really see too often stun grenades like that causing such damage to a team. I think I remember way back when, maybe 3 seasons ago, Rob's over on Hatin with a stun grenade that went over the top side, able to almost wipe an entire team off the back of that. But yeah, it's not often you see plays like that, but it's so fantastic to see it, like, in a pro setting, in a 4v4, finding value off the back of it. Papara Supermassive just do it better.
Yeah, they are just goated at this point, and I think they're looking to reach a higher average than they even gave us on that first day of the competition. They had a ridiculous amount of eliminations, and speaking of the eliminations, I can't wait to see the match ranking, because I want to know how many elims we had in total from that last game. Because that alone is going to be insane. From the first 8 minutes, we were already on 16, 17 eliminations confirmed, and a lot of people already revived as well. So it's just getting crazier and crazier. The average that was brought up before about Rondo and how many extra eliminations it might bring into the equation was 20. But I want to see that average go up a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a nice ending there coming from Papara Supermassive. For that final blow there. MVP was definitely lost. I mean, he's been significantly strong for the entirety of the knockout stage so far. 5 elims, 600 damage. Again, I think this is kind of an underrated strat, though, where Papara Supermassive just loot normally, and because everyone is battling on the outside edges, just doing war, they can just take center so easily because no one's making that rotate until late game. So Papara Supermassive just has the ability to pick and choose. I think it's underrated strategy right now, especially in PMSL EU, because no one else is doing it. And it's sort of a case, the similar case to Edge versus center. It's like Edge is typically better when a lot of teams are playing center. Center's typically better when a lot of teams are playing Edge. Here, it's more of a case of center's always better because everyone's fighting elsewhere.
And then you come in the very last second and destroy everyone, get all the eliminations, and get that chicken dinner. And this is what we're seeing right now from the likes of Papara Supermassive and their numbers from that last one. We're not seeing 2 players with 1,000 damage plus, but hey, this is what they were able to secure, and it's 10 plus eliminations. That's 12, I believe. Yeah, that's 12 eliminations at the end of the game. And that's going to be 22 points to their tally. That's going to send them to almost 80 points, 5 games in, which, again, mathematically, and the average is just going higher and higher with this roster. It's like the more points doesn't equal more prize pool, but you know what? If it was that way, wow, that would have been insane. You know what else is insane? our lovely sponsor for this competition, the Infinix GT30 series. Every ranked push, every clutch moment, it's not luck, it's preparation. And that's exactly how the teams prepare, by practicing it with the Infinix GT30 for this competition. And this competition wouldn't be possible without this lovely sponsorship. So thank you, Infinix, for staying with us in this incredible journey to discover and find the best PUBG Mobile players in Europe and in Turkey. We're still on the hunt. We haven't found them yet, but we'll find them and let you know.
Yeah, I mean, 120 FPS, very nice. You know, high res. Unfortunately, the boys from TMV were getting 120 FPS of just a white screen, which is a bit rough. But, you know, the players wouldn't be able to do it without this phone. GT30 series, make sure you check it out. But overall, so far, very, very fun. Very, very fun. We're already filling the next lobby right now as we speak. But today should be a good day after that last rondo. Again, you're right. I'm very curious to see exactly how many elims total we had during that game. We get the replays coming through first. S2G having their initial bouts of combat earlier on. They weren't able to get too much further into the game after this.
Yeah, they weren't really. And another one of the teams that I wanted to bring up, I guess, was, I mean, I was going to talk about Shockwave. They had one of their players reach towards the end, but it was just like the one player surviving for as long as possible, which helps them out considering that the Noisy Boys, one of their competitors towards the end, was also there. So that alleviates some of the pressure on this roster, but no, I need to see more from them, and I need to see more from the Noisy Boys, which have been exceptionally quiet considering the position that they had. I think they should have been one of the teams that ended up with a ridiculous amount of eliminations, but it's going to be Anorthosis with the most at the end, having 14. But it's 22 points that go to Papara Supermassive. Bra with 13. They had 9 eliminations in that one. They ended up getting themselves in 4th place as well. Not a bad start for this team. I think that they're also trying to answer I guess, your question, rather. It wasn't Papara, you're right. You were talking about Bra Esports. And right now, not bad. 13 to start the day.
No, it's not bad. I think they took a nice spot on the map as well. They took high ground very, very early on. I think it could be a very different game for BRA if it was a case that the circle moved off to the west a little bit, because then it would have had a high ground presence. Papara Supermassive, they just had some very slick maneuvers. And even when they looked over towards Anorthosis, there was a very clear objective they were getting at there, which was we need to take that high ground eventually. So Nico crawling off the side, being able to get that shot early on over towards Anorthosis, over towards Wagnerzada, actually a very, very impactful pickup for them. Then the Noisy Boys come in, they get a little bit of damage done, and they sent over the top. And actually, that seals the deal for them, because as soon as the Noisy Boys have to clear off that high ground, Papara Supermassive being able to take it forced them down the low ground after that. I think the TMB was a little bit scared, maybe a little bit too scared, and just gave up that high ground freely. That's the moment they won the game. It's like, it's very small things for Supermassive, but very, very important.
Yeah, very important indeed. And it's important for them to keep up with every single team here and make sure they don't get close enough. Anorthosis and Bra with the 50 points. I do want to see that second page, and this is exactly what I want to talk about. Boars, 13 points still. They need to do quite a bit, but it's not that far, right? It's not that far yet. Shockwave, 7 points ahead of them, along with 4FS. I mean, look, 7-point difference between them and, 8 between 15th. It's still, I would say we're still in the stages where one game can change everything for any team, really. Tomorrow, you know what? If this was the situation tomorrow, yeah, I would not be happy. But again, the tank of copium next to me still hasn't ran out, so I think boars are all right. Now we're still on the copium. We haven't reached hopium levels yet.
No, we are continuing to beat the dead boar, which is a little bit sad. But what's not sad is 3.4k damage from Lost. The only player even close to that is Neo from Xlay with 2660, which is a fair amount behind. You know, you're looking at, what's that, almost 800 damage-ish behind right now, which is a fair amount. Everyone else is on similar levels. Storm here from BRA, who has been a consistently strong player throughout the history of PUBG Mobile, 2,500 damage. Pretty decent. But yeah, Lost is clearly ahead of the pack.
And he's going to stay that way for quite a while just because of that range. And you know what? I'm going to remind our lovely viewers exactly who's going to be playing in the next game and who's going to be skipping out. I believe it's still going to be the same rotation. I don't think it changes in terms of which group was playing and which group was not. But just...
Nothing too fancy.
No, we like to keep things simple. So yeah, from the very beginning, it was Ulf, Regnum, 4FS, and JetGo that were not participating in that first match. So going to the next one, Bra, Fenerbahce, Oscar, and X-Slay Esports will be taking a break. They will not be participating in the next game. And this is, of course, Ulf, Regnum, 4FS, and JetGo, who will now join us from now until the end of our day. And I'm very curious to see what JetGo is going to do. They had a very high elimination 2 games yesterday and then nothing. So I want to see a little bit more consistency. I want to see a little bit more balance specifically for that roster. 4FS, they did well in the knockout stage, but they are struggling in this one. Now I'm beginning to see the cracks in the roster. And I'm curious to see if they were able to work on any of those things coming into the second day.
Yeah, so it's I think... Well, that would mean that JetGo's going to be playing 2 rondos, right, so far. Does that mean other teams only get to play 1 rondo? Am I wrong saying that? Because JetGo did play a rondo yesterday. And there's another rondo today.
Huh.
So how's that working out?
That's true.
So, yeah. I'm going to look at this when we finish the show.
Yeah, now that you said it, it makes sense. I'm just like, hold on, but how? So you're saying that there might, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into it. I don't want to do this.
So there's 2. So is the way it works that every group plays 2 rondos?
I mean, that could be. Then that should be the case. Yeah, if we have a total of 5 rondos, how? Yeah. You know what?
Every group plays 4 rondos.
I think every group is going to end up playing 2 rondos. Well, no, they're okay. Hold on. Let's break it down.
Every group plays 4 rondos.
Okay. So if it's 4 rondos, then it's 4 rondos, 4 Erangels, and 4 Miramars, right? That should be the split.
And then that's 12. That's 12 matches. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're right. Okay, we're right.
You know what? Let's pretend we're right. I'm gonna go along.
Every group skips 1 rondo. That makes more sense. Okie dokie. And I think that the way they're set up is that yesterday we had 1 right in the middle. Now we have 2 like here, and then tomorrow we'll have the 1 here and 1 here, and then tomorrow we'll have the 1
second
here,
and 4th.
Here. Yeah. Okay. I think we get it. Honestly, we cracked it.
It took us a couple of minutes live on stream, but you know what? I'm happy that we were able to crack the case and solve it.
Hey,
Good job, Blank. I'm proud of you. You did it. It was all you. It was all you.
Sometimes, no. Sometimes this takes like weeks for league up. So I think we did sick.
League Ops takes like weeks, months planning how to do it.
I reckon.
And then we come in and say, guys, what is this? I don't like it. This system's kind of silly. Meanwhile, League Ops at home, like, what?
It's been like 8 weeks on that. No, we know nothing. We're just trying to make sense of what's going on, and we've done it. And if you're wondering the reason why we're trying to make sense of it, is because it's very important that Rondo never gets played more by any one team.
Yes.
Just because there's opportunity for more points, which would be unfair to other squads.
Yeah. So it has to be system. Like we mentioned, it has to be perfectly balanced, as all things should be. And I believe the lobbies are balanced, except our second lobby for today, which seems to have, I believe, 60 players. I'm waiting on those last one. No, never mind.
No, you're behind still. Yeah, you're behind. Yeah.
No, I'm way behind because the players are apparently already on the island and they are waiting to board the plane. And this match should be starting soon. So you know what to do, boys and girls. Let us know who you're supporting. Let us know who is going to get the chicken dinner in our second match of the day, which should be underway. And here are those magical words. Here we go. Game number 2, Erangel. Knockout stage, PMSL EU. Let's get to it.
There it is. I think I'm going to call for a Regnum Karya win on this one.
Ooh, okay.
I think I'd like a Regnum Karya win.
Can you
much
guess?
Nicer playing path too.
Can you guess who I'm going for?
Do not pick balls.
No, okay, you know what? I was going to. I was actually going to pick them. And you know what? Just because he said that, I have to. I have to stick with the force.
I don't think they're even playing in this one, are they?
No, it should be Bra, Fenerbahce, Oscar, and Exley that are out of it. This is just the top 16 teams out of the 20.
Oh, no, they are in. Yeah, they are in. This is the top 16. You're correct. But you shouldn't pick them.
Actually, yeah, I should pick another team considering the caster curse, right?
Yeah, you should try and help them out.
Okay, so who do I pick then to get them to win?
To get them to lose.
To get them to lose, yes, that's right. I need them to lose, yes.
Probably Paparazzi Massive, so we see someone different. Because knowing
actually, you know what?
Massive, they're going to get second.
Yeah, I'll pick Paparazzi Supermassive because, not going to lie, it's kind of crazy that they have this massive lead, and I would like it to be a little bit competitive. They're ruining the fun. Stop it, Papara. You're destroying everyone, and it's going too quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they won a third of the games they've played so far, which is pretty miraculous. It's very nice to see. We get our Northern Circle on the game towards Severny. It was actually a really pleasant playing path into Pleasant Circle, which doesn't happen too often. Most teams will have the ability to get up here. Some of these drop spots are going to cut a little bit short. Some of our teams that might want to head down towards Military might want to pick up Ferry Pier or Primorsk instead, so they get much quicker over towards the circle. Though knowing some of these teams, they're very dead set on not switching things up too often, and they will just go all the way down towards Military. But we'll wait for that to come through. IWNRX on our screen. Frozen, Kakali, Kine, and Swain. All very prominent players from PMSL EU over the years, yet they just have not found their footing here in the knockout stages.
And that they have not, but there is still time for them to do exactly that. The opportunity is available. You just have to take it. Let's see if they do. No. This is something that we've constantly seen between 4FS and Boars. Gentleman's agreement in Yasnaya. Not going to be fighting each other, just going to be focusing on looting up for now.
Yeah, they both know that if they fought, it would go wrong.
Yes,
they'd lose
very
like
much
two
so.
players each.
And then the game's just scuffed for both of them. And you don't want to do that.
And like, we both realize we're probably not good enough right now to fight one another. So let's just not do that. Collusion?
Yes. No.
Colluding?
No. I don't think. I think it's gentleman agreement. That's what it is.
Handshaking in my PUBG Mobile? Colluding? Now, there's been so much more egregious. There's been so much more egregious displays of collusion in the past.
You know what? That there have
teams.
Yeah, that there have. I'm just going to take a swift left turn right into this rotation that Real is taking from Asgard Esports. I have to say, very bold to be rotating with a horse.
It's pretty silent, on the rotating on the road though. I think I'd agree with you there. It's like whole point of the horse is that it can go cross country. You don't need to stick to the roads. It doesn't have wheels.
Exactly, but he decides, nah,
I'm gonna abide by the law. I play to him.
Here's my question to you then. When you drive on the road in PUBG Mobile, do you drive on the right side or the left side?
To any side.
Okay.
Doesn't matter to me, as long as I get to where I need to go.
Fair.
Oftentimes, I'm actually driving over bumps in the fields.
Just driving straight through anything.
Yeah. It's not always the most comfy of rides, but I get you where you need to go.
I mean, I agree. That's the kind of rotation I would take as long as we get there as quickly as possible, just so we can have the best position. But it is going to be a bumpy ride. Like, I promise you this. You need to fasten your seatbelts.
We might be in the road for like 2 seconds when I'm crossing it. That's about it.
Yeah, that's all you get. And you definitely need to fasten your seatbelt.
I love that we got that switch POV to someone just in the water for some apparent reason.
They're having a nice dip, okay?
So we're on board with Ulf. Currently holding the roadside versus Paparazzi Massive. That is ridiculous, by the way. That is some really long shots, and those are team shots. That's not just one player hitting those. If I was If I was Ulf, I too would have just immediately been like, yep, nope, that's... we're not fighting this. These guys are good.
We don't have to do this, no. I mean, the zone isn't forcing us right now. It might, though, because they have been forced in these areas time and time again the past couple of days. Seen quite a
Do you
few
ever
of
have those
those
moments
ones?
in game where like you're taking shots at someone and they like swivel 180 and then they start blasting you for like 2 headshots and you're just like, he's cracked. I can't fight him. But you just have to do it.
Yeah, 100%. It's happened enough times to remind me just how terrible I am at gaming. Yes.
It always sucks that because like you have like a sense of self-confidence which immediately gets broken down.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my
Like that.
God,
Like that right
bad.
there. Aaron peeks out the door. A good shot from Solus, but is it enough?
Yeah, is it enough? We'll find out now because it has been a 1-for-1 trade and Nico steps up and he does not care. He is swinging with that S12K. They may have lost Kamikaze.
What?
They will not lose the entire lineup, or will they? There's a third party in force, and that's close range. And then there's a fourth party from a distance in Falcons.
God.
Yeah, but look at that. Papata Supermassive, they know they have another
Why?
elimination to secure in the tower. They really like this tower, apparently.
Why did Boz rocked up? Well, like this is a fight that's ongoing between 2 teams. They are locked in. They seem to be having a bad time. We could third party this, or we could just turn tail and run. Like, what are you doing? This is free elims.
It's free elims, it's free real estate. But apparently, they don't see it that way.
Yeah, I mean, they take petrol station, which I guess isn't too bad over towards West Side Yaz. But yeah, felt like a... I think that really does show how worried Boars are. I think they know they need to get points on board, and they're so scared to even go for third parties, which is not a good mindset to be in.
Yeah, can't be having that. We also can't be having Jet go with 0 eliminations now. Come on, gentlemen. I just look at the difference. 8 minutes now, right? 8 minutes, 3 eliminations. Rondo, 8 minutes, 16 eliminations.
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, people aren't prepared to put their lives on the line, knowing that their lives mean nothing with the recall system. Yeah, Papa Supermassive losing 1 player, though, in Kamikaze is pretty bad. Though, right now, Kamikaze was definitely the star player from the group stages, but I would say this is more on Lost. And arguably a lot more on Nico. I think although Lost is getting a lot done for the team in terms of damage, in terms of preparation, it is Nico. Nico is setting a lot of these up. He's sort of the hidden sword on the team, which is cool. Very, very cool.
Well, let's see if this sword can swing and get a couple of eliminations. Meanwhile, Jetco, we just see a little bit of suffering on their side. A couple of eliminations not going their way. It's of comp. Oh, no, Ida, no, not the time. Not the time to be pulling these kinds of mistakes. But it's fine, because Regnum Carrier are just passing by.
Ida looking over towards Asgard. Do have high ground on this. I mean, take a stock of where the map is right now. We're over towards Southside Severny. A few compounds around here are available to play. You don't really be playing over towards the eastern side, so the pizza slice outside the Yasnaya. Fielded area with not really much happening there. Papa Supermassive just trying to find a place to call home, and their vehicles are getting torn apart. At this point in time, it's very hard for Nico to even get out of that situation. The more damage that pours through, one of those vehicles is going to pop soon, or a nade is just going to be sent over the top. Tron just has to be a really, really sick starter here for the team. Has to find 1 or 2 knocks to even get themselves out of this situation.
Yeah, that it does, but it looks like Kara are just circling like a shark in the water. They smell blood. And they are on the hunt for the eliminations. They are on the hunt for those points. But they're not going to be going for that push just yet. we still do have 16 teams and 59 players after almost 11 minutes have passed. And there's a ridiculously large number of players who are still alive. Especially, I mean, the first zone, a little bit of a struggle, but not too crazy. The second one now still hasn't decided. We could see a massive shift towards the south side. And then we'd see a lot of players in a difficult situation. But it's closing in slowly but surely. In 15 seconds, we'll find out where their fate will be decided on this map.
I think if we're looking at this, I think you're right. Absolutely, it's a bit of a difficult one to predict where it's going to go and where you want to be in the circle, what places you want to take. Good job from Papara Supermassive though. Tron as well as Lost have been holding this down, and Balls are still afraid to take this fight, despite there being two teams going up against one another. We do go south. It's not terrible. Teams can play on that high ground going down towards Rozhok. There is a possibility for any teams that are on 2 players. I mean, if I was Papara Supermassive, I'd love to be able to get out of this one and head down towards Rozhok and just play out the rest of the game there, as there's a lot of buildings to work with. But I don't think Kara is going to let that happen at all. And neither are Boars, for that matter. A lot of teams getting more and more into this capability now with those hovercraft that you just pummel it with bullets. Get it to explode as early as possible, otherwise it's a real nuisance to deal with.
Yeah, it really does take quite a decent bit of time to shoot it and take it down. You need the whole roster to do it if you're going to do it quickly. It's not going to be a solution that they can use right now. But a Supermass. Oh no, Trombi, no. Well, there's not much you can do there. And it is going to be Lewis on his own. Last member standing for Supermassive. And looks like he won't survive for that long. They will finally be taken out and stuck at 81 points. The fact that first is 80, second is 50, and then instantly we dropped to 35. But yes, don't forget, that is 5th place. There's still a couple of teams. But again, crazy. 31-point lead, 5 games in.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Definitely very impressive. I think for Supermassive right there, they get absolutely crunched in. I think Tron was doing his best with the position he had. Fortunately, Lost wasn't really able to help from that position. Any players on that building were just stuck. We saw it with Nico. Tron was the only one who had an angle on the outside, and it's good fortune they even have him there. But I think Papara Supermassive can be afforded a couple of bad games here and there. And even though, even on that bad game, they're getting 3 Edens. It's not terrible. It really, really isn't terrible. But yeah, Falcons right now down towards that south side, playing alongside the bunkers. Good position to have. I have no idea what Balls are doing. I don't know why they're still playing in this area. I guess they're just waiting to see what happens next.
Maybe they are. Looks like they're stepping up to the Noisy Boys and Anarthosis Famagusta.
Bye. Oh, good damage.
It's quite a lot of damage coming out, but this fight between the Noisy Boys and Anarthosis Famagusta might attract a little bit more attention. If it does not get wrapped up quickly by Anarthosis, there's just one member left you have to take care of. But Mozaro is not going to make it easy. He's going to swing out. He's going to take one down. Meanwhile, Anarthosis get eliminated by Boars, and Mozaro survives.
Yeah, there's actually really nice back-to-back plays there. First nade was pretty beautiful. Not easy always to get it through that crack in the window, but able to do it twice in a row there is lovely. Second one almost on target. It could have been a back-to-back Elim on those nades there. Looking at the circle though, we head down towards that south side. I don't think Poser needs to be playing here. But they can certainly go for this for Kara. It's similar to what I was talking about earlier with Papara Supermassive. This position is nice for like a 2-man squad. But if you're Kara, you can kind of play the bridge, you play Rozhok, you comfortably hold on to 2 of your members. You can always retreat back down there anyway. And it means that a lot of these teams on the north side have to fight first. But if you're Kara making this play, you are looking for a podium finish off the back of that.
There you are, and now looking towards the zone and where it positioned itself. I did mention the possibility of it going south, and it has again, and Kara is going to be very happy with that if the zone favors them in Rozhok. But at the moment, Falcons, good position, Jetgo and IWNRX. But right now, our sights are on Besiktas and Ida Esports. As Zeptimus is trying to find a way in for himself and his squad. Meanwhile, Jetgo just looking at them on the elimination feed, not having a great time. They have two of their members knocked, one player left alive. Not sure if there is a possibility for them to get those revives. Yeah, it is going to be just one right after the other picked off by multiple teams, whether it's Falcons, whether it's IWNRX, who were opening up, but were not able to secure the elimination onto them. Besiktas, we did mention they were trying to find a way in. It looks like they have by completely ignoring Ida and driving all the way around them and a lot of other squads. But it looks like they went right into the embracing arms of freedom. Can he take him down? No, the DPS is ready. 4FS.
4FS. A lot of damage coming that way.
It's becoming absolutely crazy with the amount of teams that are jumping into this. And 4FS, yeah, elimination secured. And by Falcons, actually, on that one.
Falcons are in a good spot for a while. Like I said, playing around bunkers is a good position to have. 4FS looking over towards Jetgo. There's a nade in. Not quite on target. Jetgo with Freedom currently playing just on a little bit to the left-hand side there over towards the hay bales. But yeah, I think that, you know, if all things come to fruition, Falcons should win this game. It's a great position to be in this early on. I'm just worried because I've seen plenty of times in the past where Falcons are unable to hold on to a position like this, where it's not entirely a compound, but it is a cover to work with. But they do need to be very, very efficient with the way they play this.
Yeah, that they do. Meanwhile, we'll see a fight between S2G and Asgard. Well, two members of S2G, as Kelsey is just on the ground waiting for an opportunity for someone to revive him once this fight is done. Meanwhile, Asgard pull up. Koa might be third partying. Well, there's someone third partying in this because it wasn't HamCG that opened up and got that knock. Somehow it was him on Akron. What in the world is going on right now? Sefkan, last member from ASG. Holding, but for how long? Ragnar Daria, first game of the day, and they're out just like that. S2G lose out on another one of their members. HamCG not able to wrap up this fight quickly enough. Icy will not be there to help him, but finally he wraps up that fight. It took a little too long, but he finally got the job done.
Yeah, great smokes for the entirety of that as well, just denying sidelines and pushing them out to the edge of the blue, which really made things uncomfortable. Circle moves over towards that northeast side. When Regnum Carrier came in, I thought there was a good opportunity for them to get something done in a big way there. Unfortunately, they get collapsed on by two separate teams almost immediately, which was a little bit unfortunate considering from Ida, they've been hovering around that north side for a while, not really making too much noise, but Regnum Carrier was just doing coming into the circle with what information they had, but yeah, they get pincered. Not a great place to be in, and they get run down as well, which makes matters even worse.
Eight teams now in the stage blank, which I feel like is kind of low. No, 8 teams at this point.
Yeah, it's just a horrible area of the map, right? Like, there's
we don't.
Not much here to work with. It's on a slope. The slope's fairly open unless you're on the west or the east side, where it slightly curves, which is going to give you a little bit of sightline cover. But yeah, it's fairly typical for this area of the map. Again, though, I like what Kara did. They played down towards the southeast side, and they've just been holding this ridge side for a long, long time now. But again, they need to come off this game with like a podium finish.
They do. Meanwhile, Ida, Spada, IWNRX, who had S2G in their sights. Crazy triangle of fire there between the 3 teams. But hey, they made it out. And they continue. Meanwhile, Kara trying to cut off the rotation of Shockwave. Takimi. Just not having a great time right now, Takimi. One more bullet to out. There it is. Actually, Icy was the one that stole that away. Icy steals both eliminations of Shockwave away.
Oh, he was going to blow up his teammate for a second there. Swen's coming in from IWNRX from the side. Just scouting out what's going on down here. Should have a good idea that there is a team down there, and it is Poser to find Hamzy. Guy just cannot catch a break right now. Lovely shot, though, by the way, from the ridge side. Actually, sort of confused how he even caught him on that. Really good spot. There should be a Falcons game. Good rotate from them towards this position. They've held it down nicely. And I think the big thing is a lot of people might say, oh, they had circle look on this one. They've actually been very proactive in this game. Right? They keep rotating around, spawning things out. They had someone to say over towards the engagement between them and Regnum Kaya, making sure they couldn't push in, limit the amount of teams assaulting that location. I think it's been a fabulous game from the Falcons.
I mean, listen, oh, hold on. Well, it was quick, it was easy, and it didn't take that long, but SUG's out. Regarding the Falcons and them having a game, I agree the position is theirs. They have been playing pretty well so far. And when it comes to, oh, the zone favored them, oh no, the zone gave them the game. Listen, I've seen so many games where teams were basically spoon-fed zone time and time again, but they were not able to use it. They just sat there, no eliminations, no points. They get to the late game. They never rotate out of that position. They never use it in any way, shape, or form. And they end up getting second or third, getting placement points with 0 elims. Did you really benefit that much from that game? Could you have gotten a lot more points? Yeah, if you used the position. Falcons have been. Not every team would be able to do the same.
Yeah. So, do you agree? It's good. Yeah, I think, yeah, like I said, they've been very proactive this match, pushing up on the north side and then making sure they're scouting around the position. It's nice. It's very, very nice. Looking over towards the west, though, IWNRX do finally need to leave that position that they've been holding for a long time. It's provided safety, but now they need to meet the rest of the players towards the center of this one, which is a pretty ugly position of the map to play in. I think you can tell it's ugly with the way Ede has been playing this out, like not even really wanting to play in the circle right now. They'd much rather play right on the edge of it as the blue starts to nudge them further towards the Falcons.
Slowly but surely. But I like this from Darkin as well, just making sure he sweeps the entire area, make sure he knows there's no stragglers, their flanks are safe, and they can keep on going. Meanwhile, IWNRX currently 19th place, blank, with 17 points. And an opportunity to jump up in this leaderboard, considering 16th, 17th, and 18th. All out, 4FS have 1 player, so there's not much that can be done by that solo. So, 1 opportunity for IW to get out of the danger zone. But they have to get some points, because right now it's just a 1 elimination, and whatever placement points they manage to secure themselves in this one. Nothing too crazy then.
Let's see how they play this one out. I mean, this position, it's nice. In terms of nade cover for Falcons, having the 3-story, beautiful. Being able to switch between floors on that. The teams will see this as a focal point, 100%. Realistically, what Falcons needs is when Kara starts to push in, they need IWNRX need to get involved as well as. 4FS is still up. IWNRX were able to pick up a loot crate on their journeys over here. So level 3s will be there for 1 player. Not sure if they're able to get... Ooh, the Lynx AMR. Okay, that is actually a nice weapon. If you can hit the shots.
Well, it's time for him to show that he can. This would be exactly what they need to get the points that they want, huh? This would be perfect.
Come on. 1 tag. That's it.
Oh!
That's so frustrating.
No, but it's Kind that got it.
Yeah, so good shots from Kind there on the AUG. Now Cody needs to move back, and that was their forward outpost for the side of the Falcons. Unfortunately for IWNRX, I think they're lacking on vehicles, so an immediate push on that position is a little bit more difficult. On the other hand, though, Kara sees that weakness and will move forward.
Can they move forward in time before the revive is finished and see if they can wipe out Falcons? Nade from Rauf. This could be something massive, and that it is. Knock onto Marso, slows things down for Kara. Opens things up for Falcons, and look at that. IWNRX with the third party, but they're getting third party themselves by Ida. And all of a sudden, again, Triangle between 3 teams shows up. They start focusing each other, somehow helping each other as well. And I love this, the way they're running together, playing as a team. Now they're swinging onto Kara, see if they can secure CEO. Meanwhile, Ida and IWNRX are just tearing each other apart. Nade's gonna be coming in, frozen. This is absolute carnage between Ida and IWNRX. The timing that they jumped in was ridiculous. Another nade, and Emra goes down. So does Frozen. Kirkali's on his own against Darkin. Frozen should be... No, that heal came in literally the last possible second. But he was baiting, and Kirkali answers. Ida and IWNRX, the fight is done for now. The revive should be coming onto Swain in a few moments. Meanwhile, 4FS Lost is just being chilling, waiting for the placement points to come to him. Amre should not survive. He should not be able to walk back to Madcap. He should not be given that opportunity.
Falcons is currently moving on the top side. Everyone had to move very fast here. Get over the top. Good nade from Koa. Swain goes down. It's in the back line. 4FS only just now show their face in that one player in Lost. Not the Lost we are used to seeing in those end games, but certainly a big target there. Koa getting taken out leaves Falcons in a bit of a precarious scenario now. We're on with 2 players from a game that looked like it was in their hands. Now it starts to flow between the fingers like sand.
9 elims is absolutely fantastic for them. Can they get the chicken dinner and the rest of the squads, though? You did say it was a Falcons win. Well, I mean, you predicted a Regnum carrier coming into this one. They got 11th. Not much. Well, let's see if the positioning that Falcons were able to play with this entire time will benefit them a game. Redox, good lord, he is so close. He's going to step up, and perfect timing with the DBS. Finds the opening on IW. But keep in mind, Ida is still in play. Nate's coming in as well. Lovely placements from Redox and from Narvalo. They're looking to secure this one. Another couple of nades just come swinging right by each other, and Swain goes down. Redox finds this is the time to push. Do not give them an opportunity to go for the revive. Finish the fight, and that's what Redox does. 12 eliminations, and now it's a 2v1. Falcons versus Ida for the chicken dinner.
Can't count Madcap out, though. This guy is a killer on the side of Ida. Madcap has helped a lot of teams push through some really difficult moments. He also has Harkov to work with. Falcon's likely going to have to move out into that open ground for just a second. But Redo's going to send wide, so we're going in a 1-1 split here. Looking to get the scout on board. 4 nades in the hands of Madcap. It's just off target.
Well, now they know exactly where he is, though. Redox arming up a nade. See if he can hit it. Ooh, very close.
That's bad news. Yeah, they don't get any tag on it, which is a little bit unfortunate. Again, no tag. So the information gain is just not there. They roughly know his location. A nade came from this area. I think as soon as you see the buggy, you'd understand his locale. I think that realistically, Redox should have waited for Narvalo to get to this spot.
I agree. I think he should have waited. But look, the fact that he's not taking the 1v1. Oh, nice. Well, never mind. Don't need to risk it anymore. Narvalo with a perfectly placed nade. After a couple of attempts, managed to secure it, and that is going to be a Falcons winner chicken dinner. We were waiting for them, and they showed up. It's taken us some time. They had 31 points yesterday, but now with this one, that's going to jump them up to like 4th, maybe top 5 so far. But they still have a road to go. They still have to make sure that they are in top 16. IWNRX, they had a few elims towards the end as well. I want to see how many points they managed to secure at the final tally, and see how much they jumped as well in the overall leaderboard.
And when you're looking at Falcons, I think that was a good. That was actually a really good game from them. Again, there was a little bit of that carelessness, let's put it that way, as they push through on that south side, letting 4FS creep up on them like that. I think that maybe you expect another team there. Then again, you have that sense where Caro goes down, you think that's the entire squad wipe done, but then again, why is IWNRX not pushed towards that position anyway? So yeah, it's a tough one. I think that everyone realized very quickly later on that they had to gain ground on that open space, which is why it was a massive go signal for everyone and all that action popped off so quickly. But the fact the Falcons still make it happen, just Narvalo and Redox, two players that had sort of lost their luster a little bit as players, it's really nice to see. And I think that is promising. It's promising for the team.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's been quite a few promising performances from some rosters. You know what? That's it. I think the copium right now. What are Boars doing? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, there's been a lot of copium for a lot of these teams, and yeah, I'm wondering what Boars are going to do too.
Yeah. I mean, look, I want to say there's still time for a few teams, but Boars have got to step it up. We talk about how many mistakes a team is allowed to make and how many games you can have where you end up with 0 points specifically. We give the limit at 2. Again, that limit can range depending on the level of qualification. If you're talking about 20 out of 24, or 16 out of 20, you can make a couple more mistakes, but ideally you don't want to, because that's still going to affect the way that you're going to perform in the grand finals as well and going forward. So you always want to put your best foot forward, and you can't really give excuses for any of those bad performances. So you have to work on whatever mistakes you're making and fix things before it gets to a dangerous level.
You just spotted him. I mean, Madcap sort of walks into it. He does have to move up. Really well cooked on it as well. MVP was Koa. Unsurprising for the amount of work he'd been doing last PMSL as well for EU. 500 damage, 3 elims, did go down a little bit later on, purely because the team didn't clear the building. But overall, fantastic stuff from the Falcons that game. Really, really enjoyed it. Eder as well starting to step up a lot more. I think that you were wanting IWNRX to get a little bit more done. Well, they certainly do that game.
Yeah, they're definitely going to help them up a little bit, but let's have a look at the rest of the little statistics that we have. Most damage, most scored. So Falcons were on fire that last game, 709, 4 eliminations. Not the highest numbers that we've seen so far. So there's still some work to be done all around. This game has been, I want to say, like, slow. It hasn't been a very high elimination game. It hasn't been that intense. It hasn't been that crazy. And the numbers can show us exactly that. Most distance, 330. We saw 427 yesterday, which we still don't know how. And here we got the stats from that last game completely. Decent amount of eliminations for Falcons. Like we said, 13. Decent number of damage as well. And look at that, Redox and Narvalo, 38 and 41 damage taken. They were able to survive until the very end of the game and barely took any damage. Okay, crazy from the duo. Very nice.
I mean, they didn't really have to. I mean, they had that 3-story for such a long time. And again, I think the reason that game is not high octane is just because of the circle itself. I mean, it's a tough circle to play for a lot of teams, and there really isn't a lot of opportunity to start sweeping on the sides. You saw so many squads there towards the end, all playing edge. No one wanted to play center because center sucked. So you just have to play on that edge of the map a lot of times, and then try and work it from there. By the time we got to zone 8, that's when teams started to think about actually hitting the center of the circle.
Yeah, because looking at what's happened in that last game, we were 18 minutes in and we had 8 squads. 19 minutes into the game, which is crazy. I love the range that we're getting. That's what I love. Just the difference between Rondo and Erangel from the beginning of the day. And so we had so many players, so many teams in the first one, and then second game it was just because of the positioning of the zone. Of course, it was an absolute slaughter on so many teams. There were so many areas that were just not in fighting whatsoever. There's no cover. There's not much for you to work with or do anything with. So yeah, so it's expected for it to go that way. But you know what? This is what we get to see with PUBG Mobile. This is the level of craziness that we'll have to see in the competition.
It's been 2 really tough games, actually. I think there's some of the toughest circles I've seen so far in PMSL EU is just those 2 last games. I think that's a horrible spot to play over on Rondo, and it's a horrible spot to play over on Erangel as well. And I think that the only team that really benefited out of those two maps was the Falcons from that free story. They were able to pick it up. It's funny to me as well because I think that compound itself is actually pretty cursed in terms of PUBG Mobile. Most of the times, if you play it, it gets pulled out of the circle fairly early. But I'm glad they were able to play it for as long as they did, and people actually get to see the power of that building. Because I think if you watch esports, you look at that and you're like, oh, it's not a great spot, but it is. It's actually an insanely good spot.
Yeah, if you know how to work it, if you know how to deal with it, it can do wonders for you. And right now, I wonder how many players we are waiting on before we get ourselves started with the third game. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, third match of the day for today means it is going to be Miramar, and the only Miramar that we will have for our second day of the knockout stage. Every single group is going to be participating except, drum roll please, it is Group C, which somehow we're continuing the trend slowly but surely. Group C is Wildcats next Ruya. They're not going to be playing. Anorthos's Famagusta, Team Falcons, and Besiktas. They will be out. And Bra, Fenerbahce, Oscar, and Xlay Esports will be jumping back in with us into this next game as well. What do that? Falcons get a chicken dinner. No opportunity to build on that momentum, and they take a break.
Yeah, I think it actually works quite well for a team like Team Falcons. I don't think they're super high in teams anyway. So what they want to go for is essentially just really consistent games, be able to pull it off towards those last final zones. I think that's where they start to shine a lot more, when they really tactically think about 4 or 5 teams around them and how they're going to deal with them as we score during this match. But yeah, I think for them now taking a break is really nice because they get the morale up, then they get to consolidate a little bit. They get to jump back into the games rather than being like, okay, now we have to recreate that again. I think for teams like Paparazzi Supermassive, they're absolutely able to build the momentum.
And they've been able to do that across the past 2 days and across the past 6 games that we've played so far. Falcons, 23 points at the end of that one. IWNRX, 10 points. And those 10 points are going to be huge considering that they were in 19th. And there was a difference of like 7 between them and 4 or 5 teams ahead of them. So this should give them a little bit of respite. 4FS as well. The fact that their solo player lost was able to make it all the way to top 3. 9 points for him and the squad. Fantastic. S2G. 6 points, 8 for Kara, 4 for Jetgo, and then the rest. Regnum Carrier, not the best, Supermassive, worst game we've seen from them so far, but it's fine. I mean, you're sitting at 81 points. And at this point, you're definitely over the threshold of qualifying, and we'll see you in the finals. And I want to see the same performance from Papara Supermassive in the grand finals of PMSL EU. Noisy Boys, Boars, and Asgard struggling in this game, but let's have a look at the overall leaderboard and see exactly who's in danger and who is not. Falcons jumped to second now with 57, but of course, Papara still first.
Yeah, Papara at 81. It's still a phenomenal lead from them, but Team Falcons jumping up to second. I don't know how they keep doing it, but well played to them. They're able to hang on. It's nice. It is nice. Anathosis Famagusta, definitely surprising team for me right now at 53. I'm glad that BRA is able to continue that streak at 50. But yeah, great stuff. Great stuff.
And the second page of the leaderboard paints some not so great stuff. When you look at Fenerbahce, 25, 2 points ahead of Asgard, who's 2 points ahead of Shockwave and Ulf. And then you have Boars in last place with 15. But they will still be playing this game. They'll be taking a break next game for the likes of Boars, S2G, Ida, and the Noisy Boys. But right now, Boars, Ulf, Shockwave, Asgard, everyone's eyes are going to be on you. We want to see you perform a little bit better. That's if you want to make it into the next stage. But it's not going to be an easy one, though. These lobbies have been very, very difficult.
Yeah, the lobby is pretty tough. It's definitely pretty tough. And I think that you're looking at Ulf right now. I'm kind of worried for them. And it's weird because Ulf is comprised of some very, very good players. Here's our MVP ranking, lost obviously at the top with 23 elims and 6 assists, because this guy doesn't get assists. He only gets elims. He does not help the team. Darkin just a little bit below there on either side. But yeah, very, very good stuff.
So yeah, he is once again just almost a third of the team's points. just with the eliminations that he's secured. They have a total of 81. He has 23 in elims only. God knows how many points he was able to secure for the team placements-wise, just by, I'm not saying surviving as the last player, but staying alive until the very end of the game as well. That man has been on fire, and he's staring that MVP medal in the face. He wants it.
Yeah, I think it'd be very unlikely if Lost doesn't pick up the MVP for this tournament, honestly. With the way he's been playing, it's been very surprising to see like a new name like this come out from nowhere. I think last PMSL EU, Koa was the MVP, but that was somewhat expected because I think throughout all of his other teams, he was always like the star player on there. I've seen Lost play before, but just never to this level. It's incredible how much of a level up they've had. But yeah, I think for Papra Supermassive, they're always in the back of people's minds, but they were never at the forefront, right? They were never towards that frontal lobe. This time around, though, it has been some great development from them. Now, I think we can sort of ignore Papra Supermassive a little bit until we get towards day 3 and they've qualified and how well they've done and how much they'll be taking home, likely $4,000. But I think it's some of those teams underneath that we really want to zone in on. To me, I think I'm counting out Boss. I don't want to talk about them anymore. I think right now they are big sucking. They are. I think Ulf definitely can make it up there. S2G's in a worrying position though.
They've been in the same worrying position in the previous stage as well, and didn't really change, if I'm being honest. Weren't really able to salvage any one of their days. They weren't really able to salvage their performances either. It's just they need to put in a lot more work if they want to perform to the same levels that the organization has previously. But for now, not seeing it. Previous stage, they literally qualified by a difference of like 2 or 3 points from the team that was in 19th and 20th as well. So they were on the edge. And right now, they're very close to that edge once again. And it's not really like a huge lead between them and the teams that are in the bottom of the leaderboard as well. So, and realistically still, one good game for any one of those teams and a bad game for you, you're going to be swapping positions, and that's not where you want to be. You want to hold on, make sure you stay in that top 16. Never feel the fear of being in the danger zone.
I think that is the difficulty for some of these squads where I look at them and I'm like, well, I don't think you even have the capability to have a good game. So this is tough. I mean, even for Boars, right? It's very, very obvious. I said I won't talk about them anymore, but I have to in this instance. But even for them, like that last match is very telling to me where you look at them come down for that third party and they just ignore it. They back off. And I think because they're playing scared and they're never going to earn points like that. And some other teams are certainly playing very similarly where they're refusing to go for those big team fights because they're worried, because they're scared of their position. And that's going to really cause some big upsets. Anyway, we have Miramar after we've done quite a bit of yapping, but we're getting into it very, very shortly. And I'm excited to watch another map on the desert.
And here we go. And would you look at that? We are once again focused on the southern side of the map, but it is our third match of the day. Miramar, sunny as always. Just crossing the halfway point with this game here. 3 out of our 5 matches of every single day. And here we get to have a look at the full leaderboard just before we see the teams drop to their favorite locations in this sunny desert. But what awaits is the zone.
Southern Playing Path, though, again, we're getting a lot of these over the course of PMSL EU. We like to be on the south side. I think that over towards the north, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Towards La Cobreria, Ruins, not easy. But we're jumping straight into it. Papra Supermassive out very, very early, moving over towards Minas Generalis. But it is Puerto Paraíso that's currently contested between, I think that is Asgard as well as the Noisy Boys, if I'm not mistaken on the logo.
Noisy Boys are just east of Truck Stop.
All right, so who is getting battered by Asgard right now?
S2, no, it's not S2G.
No.
It's not IWNRX, bruh. Oh, wait, which color is that? Well, we're jumping into it. It's Fenerbahce!
It is Fenerbahce.
Not good. Fenerbahce are in not a good position at the moment. 16th with 25, 4 points behind S2G. 3 points behind, or 1 point rather, above Asgard. So it's a fight of the bottom teams at the moment, 16th and 17th. Meanwhile, Ulf and Kara as well. You can see Ulf with that point, stepping up now to 18th place. Everyone's looking to improve their positioning, their placements.
Magnum Kaya on our screens obviously didn't do too well last game. Already losing Silas is a really big blow to them. Then again, he can sit back and just IGL, I suppose. Always the relaxing portion of a game. When you're IGL, you can go down in the first couple of moments of the game. You just start micromanaging all the players. But playing on a street very early like this here on Miramar, that's very detrimental to the rest of your match. Luckily, because it was a southern plane path and now a southern circle, no one's had to move too much, and Cruz de Valle, El Azahar isn't really taken up. The big benefit of this is that, like I said, everyone can get into position nice and easily. The difficulty is that it is jam-packed.
That it is. It is going to be full. But who is going to be the one that's favored at the end? Who's going to get the points? Who's going to get the limbs?
Who do you think is going to be favored at the end?
I think it's a 50-50.
Between who?
Both of them.
Both of who? We have 16 teams.
Okay, it's a 50-50 between all of the teams. Somehow.
Right.
It's a series.
Okay.
It's a series of coin flips.
Okay. Walk me through that.
I'd rather walk you through this fight between ASG
You can't
and
just say
Fenerbahce.
stuff. You can't just say stuff and then have no backing.
Yes, I can.
That's
Watch me.
crazy.
Asgard and Fenerbahce are going to show us something insane. I'm hoping to dig me out of this hole that I have dug myself.
Oh dear. Well, let's get back into the game.
You know what? We should. We should. We really, really should.
Yeah, Fenerbahce and Asgard, difficult position. Porto Paradiso getting out from there. I mean, you're not likely to disengage easily from that spot. So either you're going to have to go down south or head up over towards that north side. But they're so embroiled between one another that, yeah, I think likely Asgard's going to try and finish off Fenerbahce down in that position. I don't think they're going to be getting too much further into this game. I don't know when Regnum Kaya lost Silas, though, because it didn't feel like there's too many teams around them.
I think it was the pickup by Ulf, maybe. Yeah, they were close enough to them around La Bandita. They might have just caught one of their players who was heading for a vehicle rotation, or just picking up a vehicle rather, and they were spotted out on the way. Could be something as simple as that. Could be not. Who knows? But I think I'm gonna go back and try and check just to be safe. But I think it was a pickup by Ulf.
Yeah. I mean, likely. Ulf got the single elimination, now the ones close by. So probably them. Still weird. Again, I think there was... I suppose it's because it's Southern Plane Path, Southern Circle. Most teams are looking for vehicles in a similar area. And you get a little bit mixed up on those crossings.
El Pozo currently just populated by the likes of Shockwave. This is one of those games, of course, with Falcons not being there. El Pozo is going to be for Shockwave in its entirety. So they shouldn't be really feeling any kind of stress in that situation. But I want to know how they're going to move. Because right now, we do have a decent amount of teams that have centralized themselves in our first zone. We got Regnum, we got Bra, 4FS, Oscar, and Ulf. And I believe Papara Supermassive as well. All of them have kind of migrated towards Los Leones, all around it. No one's playing in the center of the city. Everyone's on the outskirts from all directions. Boars are seeming like they want to jump into that as well. Everyone's feeling like this is going to be a Los Leones game. Maybe they're onto something.
Asgard.
Yeah, yeah. City finish is horrible. It takes forever. It's incredibly difficult for the teams, and it's hard to commentate. Not gonna lie, and it's also hard to analyze. There's only so much you can break down from a City finish because it's just chaotic.
I'll have to disagree, but
What? Okay, go for it.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely analysis to be done in a city finish in terms of positioning where you want to go. And I mean, Los Leones is probably one of the more fun ones, in my opinion, just because there is some very like noble positions in that area. You have the high ground scaffolding as well, which is nice to play around. But mostly, I think right now it's not fun because I don't know why so many teams are clustering around Los Leones. You don't really want to go there too early. It is an awkward position to get yourself out of. But then again, I guess there's not too many other areas on the map players want to pick up. You're just going as central as possible. But why on stage 1? Stage 2 is always the biggest zone shift out of any of our maps. This could go absolutely anywhere. So, like moths to a flame, these teams from Los Leones.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you. I'm surprised that they're all going so deep into. It's just the first zone, boys.
Yeah,
it's just the first zone. I don't know why everyone's so quick about their first rotation, but you know what? We'll see how it turns out. We'll see what happens if the zone decides to shift in favor of Los Leones and all those teams, or if it's going to force all of them to move over. We'll find that out in a couple more seconds. And the shift looks like north of Chumacera. So yeah, wow. It's like, okay, everyone who was in Los Leones, move. Get in your vehicles and drive.
Yeah, again, it was just a weird one to me. Very, very weird one. I think at that moment, like you're just looking for more loot, you're looking for more utility. I think especially when you know there's so many teams in this location, you just want to pick up as many smokes as possible to make these crossings later on more forgivable, especially in this area where there is a lot of open ground around Picado. Moving between buildings is actually a big part of the game in this area. You need smoke trains at time. So why did we all just send to Los Leones? But yeah, it was a bit of a hive mind situation there for our squads.
Yeah, everyone's like, Los Leones, go. Zone 2, nope, get out. Hold on a second. S2G and Ida. Right now, Darkin and Madcap in a area situation. Calce not giving them a lot of breathing room with that mini 14. They do have the smoke to give themselves some cover. And at the moment, they are also in the center of the zone. So a couple more teams might start hearing this, might start spotting them out and apply a little bit more pressure. Because right now, SG have kind of calmed down on that front. And hello, Shockwave. Rotating from the north side. North of Montenuevo, just coming across Power Grid, and now might be going for the mountainous area just south of San Martin and going above S2G.
I think for Shockwave, not a bad spot actually. You can play that plateau quite nicely. I think looking over the top side of S2G, the main difficulty there is actually getting off that top side and getting down the hillside towards some of the buildings. And it's not likely it's going to end up in Northwest on that plateau. The best case scenario for Shockwave is this delays their game a little bit longer whilst other teams are fighting.
Speaking of teams getting delayed, Fenerbahce is still in Puerto Patricio, and Asgard just started moving a couple of seconds ago from the area. They got in their vehicles and they're now headed towards the zone. So Fenerbahce are going to be very, very late to the party in a game that they need to perform in. 25 points, 24 in Asgard right behind you. Top 16, yeah, you're in the safe spot for now, but what, with a difference of 1 point and then 3 from 3 other teams? No. You have to step it up. You were one of the top teams in their previous stage. You cannot be performing like this. You cannot be playing like this. You looked so different in the prior week. And so did you, Regnum Cario. What's going on with you?
I think Random Carries just had some tough games, honestly. They've just had some weird moments all over the place. Right now, they've actually got quite a nice spot, in my opinion. I do like this position of the map for them. I like it a lot more when you have 4 players being able to look out over towards that eastern side, but I think they're just going to dip over towards Picado as fast as possible. Considering they dropped around there at the beginning, they are going to have to contend with another team as they move into it. And I saw a lot of other teams also making that crossing. Shockwave, like I say, getting off from that hillside was always going to be difficult. They try and make it happen, but S2G, far quicker on the ball.
S2G trying to eliminate the potential threat that Shockwave could pose.